Mr. President, I add these co-sponsors because as more and more of our senators are learning what has happened to these dealerships that have been notified by Chrysler that they have 3 weeks to completely dissolve a business that has been there, a part of their community, for 20 years, 30 years, up to 90 years. The oldest car dealer in Texas is 90 years old. A grandfather, a father, and now a son are running that car dealership, which got its notice that 3 weeks from May 14th, that dealership would be closed. And just to give you a view of what the dealers received on May the 14th, and why they are these 789 who received this notice are so concerned is because the letter that they were sent says, as a result of its recent bankruptcy filing, Chrysler is unable to repurchase your new vehicle inventory. As a result of the recent bankruptcy filing, Chrysler is unable to repurchase your Mopar parts inventory. And furthermore, as a result of the bankruptcy filing, Chrysler is unable to repurchase your essential special tools. So for 90 years of operating a Chrysler dealership, a company is now told that they will have no ability after 3 weeks to sell a Chrysler automobile, and nor will there be a guarantee for repurchase. What my amendment does, which now has 20 very bipartisan co-sponsors, is to say, give these dealers 3 more weeks. Give them 3 more weeks to be able to have an orderly transition out of a company that has employees. There are estimated to be 40,000 employees of these Chrysler dealerships that got 3 weeks notice. 40,000. Now, we are dealing with so many issues in these auto manufacturer closings, the bankruptcies, and we all want the auto manufacturers to be able to stay in business. We do. And the government is making a huge investment in that hope that we have. But the group that is getting nothing right now are the dealers. The dealers also are the group that have done nothing that caused this problem in the first place. They didn't design the cars. They didn't manufacture the cars, but they did buy them. There is no cost to the company that manufactures because these dealerships have purchased these cars. They've purchased the parts. They've purchased the special tools to do the repairs. And yet now they're being told they can't sell, they can't repair, and oh, by the way, we're not going to guarantee that you will have your parts and inventory bought. Now, this is just not right, Mr. President. That's why there are 20 co-sponsors to this bill, and it's growing by the hour. I just want to submit for the record a letter that Senator Rockefeller wrote to the Chief Executive Officer, Robert Nardelli, in which he too is protesting the egregious time frame and terms of these franchise terminations, which he says seem unprecedented to me. As you both know, most auto dealers have a few months of inventory of new vehicles on their lots, though some may have up to 6 months' worth. It means if the dealers stopped adding cars to their inventories last week when GM and Chrysler announced their decisions, they would still be able to sell cars for 6 months before they ran out. But Chrysler is saying they will not buy back this inventory or even parts, and instead has arranged for the remaining dealers to buy the unsold car from dealers set to lose their franchises. But there's no guarantee of that. It's right now just a hope. So Senator Rockefeller is concerned, as many of us are, that the dealers are the roadkill in this. And they are also the people who have run successful businesses. They have sold the cars. They have employees. They have investments in the community. In many instances, these are the largest employers in the community. They support the high school football program. They support the community charitable events. And we're not only knocking out 40,000 employees, we're not only knocking out the people who have given their faith and loyalty to this brand, but we're knocking out a huge chunk of community activism and volunteer service to the many communities affected by these closings. So I talked to the president of Chrysler this morning, and I believe that he sincerely is trying to save the company, and we want him to do that. But it's been half a day, and I have not seen a progress report that we will be able to come back to the floor and say that these dealers are going to get some help from Chrysler. The president says he wants to help, but I think it is time now that we get some sense of what help is. And if it is purchasing the inventory, getting the financing for the new and ongoing dealerships that will stay in business, we need to know that. These dealers need to know it so they can plan. My goodness, it's now probably 2 weeks until June 9th or so, and these people are having to plan for the orderly transition of their companies, hopefully not into bankruptcy, but many of them are going into bankruptcy. I've been told that some of these are Chrysler dealers, but they have other dealerships as well, but the Chrysler dealership could bring down the ongoing one. Well, Mr. President, I think it's time for the government that is trying to help the manufacturers to say, we need to help the dealers too. We don't need to have a bailout for the dealers, but we do need to give them time to have their orderly transition, or give them the credit possibilities to the emerging dealerships that are going to stay in business, and have them take the inventory. That would be the logical thing to do. But, Mr. President, we need a commitment here. The 20 co-sponsors of this amendment, when they hear from their dealers and they hear what is happening, they want answers, and they want answers before this bill leaves the floor. And I hope that I can give a better result than I have gotten so far today from the White House, from the Chrysler, that something is coming together. I think everyone has the right goal. I think we need to work together to achieve that goal. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.